Listen to me. Everybody wants to be strong when life is easy. But real strength is tested when life breaks you. When you lose everything you thought you needed. When the plan falls apart. When the people you trusted walk away. When the dream you chased for years slips right through your hands. That's when life asks you, who are you now? You see, pain doesn't come to destroy you. It comes to reveal you. Some of you are asking God to remove the storm, but the storm was sent to build you. Because the truth is, until life breaks you, you'll never know how powerful you really are. When life breaks you, you got two choices: stay down or get back up stronger. Most people quit when it hurts. Most people stop when it's hard. But the ones who make it, they learn to breathe in the pain. They use it. They let the struggle shape their focus. Because when life hits you the hardest, that's when you must hit back with purpose. Don't cry about the break. Grow from it. Every setback is a setup for your comeback. You can't control everything that happens, but you can control how you respond. Life broke me too. I decided I'd rather be broken and growing than comfortable and dying. So if you're broken right now, don't hide it. Don't run from it. Stand in it. Feel it. Learn from it. Because one day you'll look back at the same pain that almost destroyed you and realize it built you into someone unstoppable. Remember this: diamonds are formed under pressure, not comfort. Your pain has purpose. Your struggle has meaning. And your comeback story is going to inspire the world. So don't you dare quit. Don't you dare give up. You've come too far. You've been through too much. When life breaks you, rebuild yourself stronger than ever before, because you were never meant to stay broken. You were meant to rise. Pain doesn't destroy you. It reveals you. Most people spend their entire lives running from pain, hiding from anything that hurts, avoiding struggle like it's a disease. But what they don't understand is that pain is not your enemy. It's your mirror. It shows you exactly who you are when the comfort is gone, when the lights are off, when nobody is cheering your name. See, anybody can smile when things are easy, but it's only in the hard times that your true reflection appears. You never know how strong you are until life gives you no other choice but to be strong. When life breaks you, it's not trying to punish you. It's revealing what's been inside of you all along. You might think you're done. You might think you've lost everything. But that breaking moment is the moment when truth steps in. Pain peels away the layers of who you pretend to be. The titles, the achievements, the ego. And it exposes the real you underneath. The part of you that fights, that endures, that refuses to quit. You don't discover your power in the comfort zone. You discover it in the chaos. When the money runs out, when people betray you, when your plans collapse, that's when life whispers. And now let's see who you really are. Are you still kind when nobody's watching? Do you still believe when everything looks impossible? Do you still get up when you have every reason to stay down? That's what pain does. It strips you of all the fake stuff and shows you your core. Some people run from that reflection because it's uncomfortable, but that's exactly where transformation begins. You can't grow if you don't face your pain. The reason so many people stay stuck is because they numb themselves. They distract, they blame, they escape. But pain isn't going anywhere until it's done teaching you. It's a teacher that refuses to be ignored. Every tear, every heartbreak, every disappointment carries a message. You are capable more than you think. But you'll never hear that message if you keep avoiding it. I've learned that the same pain that broke me also built me. There were nights when I cried out, why me? And the answer was always, because there's something inside you that needs to wake up. Pain woke me up. It made me focus. It made me focus. It made me humble. It made me appreciate every small blessing. When life was easy, I took everything for granted. When life got hard, I learned gratitude. Pain taught me lessons no comfort ever could. Think about the strongest people you know. They didn't get that strength from winning. They got it from surviving. Every scar tells a story of a battle they didn't think they could win, but they did. Pain didn't destroy them. It introduced them to their own power. When you look at someone successful, don't envy their success. Study their scars. Because behind every victory is a story of pain, perseverance, and patience. See, pain isn't the opposite of growth. It's the path to growth. You can't reach greatness without going through something. A diamond doesn't form in soft sand. It forms under pressure. Gold isn't purified in comfort. It's refined by fire. In the same way, your character is forged in the furnace of pain. Every trial you endure is shaping you. molding you, preparing you for something greater. You think you're breaking, but in truth, you're becoming. There are moments when pain feels unbearable, when the weight of life feels too heavy to carry. You want to scream, you want to quit, you want to disappear. But even in that darkness, something powerful is happening. Pain is forcing you to dig deeper. It's teaching you to rely not on the world, but on the strength inside you. It's reminding you that the same fire that burns also purifies. Pain is not there to end you. It's there to evolve you. Sometimes you have to break to become whole. Sometimes you have to lose everything to find yourself. When the walls crumble, when your heart shatters, when your plans fall apart, that's when the truth about your soul is revealed. You'll realize that you were never defined by what you had. You were defined by what you survived. That's why you can't let the pain define your future. You have to let it refine your spirit. The world is full of people who quit when life got hard. They had dreams, they had potential, but when pain showed up, they gave up. They thought pain meant it was over. But the ones who make it, the ones who inspire generation, they understood that pain was just part of the process. They felt the same pain, the same fear, the same heartbreak, but they kept going anyway. They didn't let pain destroy them. They let it reveal them. Every time you face pain, you have a decision to make. You can either let it make you bitter or let it make you better. You can let it crush you or you can let it carve strength into your soul. The choice is yours. When you stop fighting pain and start learning from it, it becomes your power. That's when life changes. That's when your story turns from tragedy into triumph. I remember hearing someone say, if it doesn't challenge you, it won't change you. And that's real. You can't become your best self in a place of ease. You need resistance, you need discomfort, you need the kind of pain that pushes you past your limit. Because the version of you that can handle your destiny isn't born out of success. It's born out of struggle. Pain reveals that version. It's like life saying, I'm not trying to destroy you, I'm trying to introduce you to who you're meant to be. When you start seeing pain as revelation instead of punishment, everything shifts. You stop asking, why is this happening to me? And start asking, and what is this trying to teach me? Yeah, that's when pain becomes purpose. That's when you grow. That's when you stop being a victim of life and start being the creator of your own story. You stop running from the fire and start walking through it knowing it's refining you. So if you're in pain right now, if life has broken you, don't run. Don't numb it. Don't numb it. Don't hide it. Sit with it. Feel it. Ask it what it's trying to show you. Because pain has a purpose. It's revealing your resilience, your courage, your depth. It's removing what's fake so the real you can rise. You might not see it now, but one day you'll look back and realize that the pain that broke you was the same pain that built you. You will realize that the tears you cried watered the soil of your strength. You will understand that every rejection was redirection, every loss was preparation, every heartbreak was transformation. Pain didn't destroy you. It introduced you to your power, your patience, your perseverance. It showed you that you can survive what you thought would end you. So stop fearing pain. Embrace it. Let it reveal the warrior in you. Let it remind you that you are not fragile. You are forged. You are not broken. You are becoming. And every time life breaks you, you're being shaped for something greater. The truth is, you'll never fully know who you are until you've been tested. You'll never understand your strength until life shakes everything that's not real. Pain isn't there to end your story. It's there to write a new chapter. One where you rise stronger, wiser, and more alive than ever before. Because pain doesn't destroy you. It reveals you. And once you see who you truly are, nothing and no one can ever break you again. Don't pray for an easier life. Pray for strength to endure the storm. Everybody wants success, but nobody wants the struggle that comes with it. We all want peace, but we don't want the process that produces it. The truth is, life is not supposed to be easy. It was never designed to be simple. Every great person who ever walked this planet went through storms that would have crushed most people. The difference is that they didn't ask for the storm to go away. They asked for the strength to stand in the middle of it. You see, an easy life won't make you stronger. Comfort doesn't build character. Ease doesn't build endurance. The muscles of your soul are only strengthened through resistance. When everything in your life is smooth, when you never face rejection, when you never face failure, you might feel comfortable, but you won't grow. And growth is what you were created for. That's why sometimes life will shake you. That's why storms come out of nowhere. They come to stretch you, to strengthen you, to prepare you for the next level. When life gets hard, most people pray, God, make it stop. God, take this away. But what if instead you said, God, give me the strength to go through it. Teach me how to stand when everything around me is falling apart. Because the truth is, some storms can't be avoided. They must be endured. You can't get to the promise without going through the pressure. You can't get to the blessing without surviving the battle. Every great victory begins in a place of pain and perseverance. Look at nature. The strongest trees aren't grown in gentle weather. They grow in storms. The wind forces their roots to go deeper into the ground. The rain toughens their bark. The lightning tests their resilience. If the weather were always perfect, the tree would remain weak and shallow. It's the same with you. The reason you face storms is because life is trying to deepen your roots. Every challenge, every heartbreak, every loss is pushing your roots down into faith, into patience, into purpose. You don't get strong by avoiding the wind. You get strong by standing firm in it. We live in a world where people want instant results. They want success without struggle, faith without testing, reward without resistance. But that's not how greatness is built. Every hero you admire has faced storms that tested their soul. Every success story has a chapter of pain that nobody likes to talk about. People see the glory, but they don't see the grind. They see the victory, but not the valley. The storm is part of the process. You can't skip it. So instead of praying for an easier path, pray for tougher feet. Instead of asking for lighter burdens, ask for broader shoulders. Life doesn't get easier. You get stronger. That's how it works. The person you become through the struggle is more important than what you achieve after. Because success without strength will crush you. But if you've been through the storm, if you've endured the pain, you'll have the strength to handle whatever comes next. There are people who quit too soon. They face one storm and they think it means they're not meant for greatness. But the truth is, the storm isn't a sign that you're off course. It's a sign that you're getting close. The devil doesn't attack what isn't valuable. The pressure you feel is confirmation that something inside you is worth fighting for. The struggle is the proof that you're still in the game. Think about it. Ships don't sink because of the water around them. They sink when water gets inside. The same is true for you. The storm outside you can't destroy you unless you let it inside. As long as you protect your heart, as long as you guard your mind, as long as you keep your faith, no storm can take you down. The winds might roar, the waves might rise, but you were built to withstand it. You were built for this. When you change your prayer from a make it easier to a make me stronger, your entire life changes. You stop being a victim and start being a warrior. You stop asking the why me and start saying to try me. You stop running from problems and start facing them with courage. Because you know that every storm has an expiration date. It won't last forever. But what it leaves behind is wisdom, maturity, and resilience. The things that make you unstoppable. You can't control the weather of life. You can't stop the rain, the wind, or the thunder. But you can control your response. You can choose to stand firm when others fold. You can choose faith when others choose fear. That's the kind of strength you need to pray for. Not the absence of struggle, but the ability to endure it with grace. Because endurance is power. When you look back over your life, you'll realize that your best moments didn't come from comfort. They came from chaos. The times when you didn't think you could make it, but you did. The nights you cried yourself to sleep, but still got up the next morning and kept going. The moments when you had nothing left but a little bit of hope, and that hope carried you through. That's strength. That's faith. That's the real victory. Some storms will feel endless. They'll make you question your worth, your faith, your direction. You'll feel lost. But here, their storms don't last forever. Every storm runs out of rain. Every night ends with sunrise. The question is not when will it end? The question is, who will I be when it's over? Will you come out bitter or will you come out bitter? Will you let the storm define you or will you let it refine you? The people who make it to the top aren't the ones who had it easy. They're the ones who refused to give up when it was hard. They're the ones who prayed not for comfort, but for courage. They didn't escape the storm. They learned to dance in the rain. And because of that, they became unshakable. Life couldn't break them because they were built in the fire. Sometimes strength looks like getting up again and again when nobody's watching. Sometimes it looks like holding on to faith when you got no proof that things will work out. Sometimes it's just breathing through the pain and saying, I'm still here. That's strength. That's power. That's power. That's how warriors are made. You don't become great by being protected from pain. You become great by facing it, by walking through it, by learning from it. Every tear you shed, every obstacle you face, every failure you overcome is adding another layer to your character. You're being molded in someone unbreakable. So when you pray, don't ask God to take away the storm. Ask him to make you strong enough to carry through it. Because someday, the same storm that tried to break you will be the story that builds others. You'll be able to look someone in the eye and say, I've been there. I know what it feels like. But I made it. And your strength will give them hope. Your endurance will give them courage. That's how storms become purpose. So don't fear the storm. Face it, endure it. Walk through it with your head high. You might get wet, you might get tired, but you'll come out stronger. And one day you'll thank the storm for what it taught you. You'll realize it wasn't sent to destroy you. It was sent to develop you. Don't pray for an easier life. Easy doesn't change. Easy doesn't build you. Easy doesn't prepare you for greatness. Pray for strength to endure, to rise, to fight, to keep believing when everything seems lost. Because when you have strength, no storm can defeat you. The rain might fall, the wind might blow, but you'll still be standing when it's over. Not weaker, but wiser. Not broken, but unshakable. You are stronger than the storm. You've just got to believe it. You got to hold on when it hurts. You got to keep moving even when you're tired. Because the world doesn't need people who've had it easy. It needs people who've survived the storm and came out shining. That's who you are. That's what you're becoming. And that's why you never pray for an easier life. You pray for strength to endure the storm. Every breakdown carries the seed of a breakthrough. That line right there is the truth most people miss when they're standing in the middle of their pain. When life falls apart, when you're hurting, when you've hit rock bottom, it's easy to believe that it's over. It's easy to think the breakdown means you failed, that your story has ended. But what you don't see in that moment is that hidden inside that breakdown is something sacred, the beginning of your next breakthrough. When everything collapses, it's not always destruction. Sometimes it's transformation. Sometimes the old version of you has to fall apart, so the stronger, wiser, and more focused version can rise. You can't build a new life on top of old patterns. And sometimes life has to tear those patterns down. The breakdown isn't a punishment, it's preparation. You're being stripped of what no longer serves you. You're being empty so that you can be filled again, this time with purpose, clarity, and strength. Think about it. When a seed is planted, it's buried in darkness. It breaks open before it can grow. To the outside world, it looks destroyed, but that breaking is the beginning of life. You're the same way. When you're going through your hardest seasons, when you feel buried by problems, when everything inside you feels shattered, that's not the end. That's your seed moment. Life isn't burying you. It's planting you. The breakdown is the soil where your breakthrough grows. But most people can't see that because pain blinds you. When you're in the middle of it, all you see is the loss, the fear, the confusion. You ask, oh, why me? You question everything. You think God forgot you. But the truth is, the breakthrough is being built in that very moment. You just can't see it yet. Pain often hides progress. While you're crying, you're growing. While you're suffering, you're strengthening. While you're waiting, you're being prepared. Every great person you admire has gone through a breakdown that became their breakthrough. They lost jobs, relationships, dreams, even their sense of direction. But instead of quitting, they chose to look for the lesson inside the loss. And that's what changed everything. They understood that pain isn't random, it's refining. That destruction isn't always defeat. Sometimes it's divine design. You see, your breakdown shows you what's real. It removes the fake friends, the false comfort, the illusions. It exposes who's truly for you and what truly matters. It humbles you, grounds you, and redirects you toward your purpose. Without the breakdown, most of us would never change. We keep living the same way, chasing the same things, repeating the same mistakes. The breakdown is life's way of saying, it's time to evolve. Sometimes the thing you think is breaking you is actually breaking you open. It's opening your eyes, your heart, your mind. It's showing you that you can't control everything, but you can control how you respond. It's teaching you resilience, faith, and surrender. You can't grow without breaking a few times. You can't reach new levels without losing some things that once felt comfortable. That's the cost of transformation. It's like a caterpillar. Before it becomes a butterfly, it dissolves inside the cocoon. It literally breaks down into nothing. To an outsider, that looks like death, but it's life. That process of breaking down is what allows it to fly. You might feel like you're falling apart right now, but maybe you're just in your cocoon. Maybe your wings are being formed in the silence, in the struggle, in the space between who you were and who you're becoming. The problem is most people quit in a cocoon. They get scared of the dark. They can't handle the isolation, the waiting, the uncertainty. They don't realize that the pressure is part of the process. The darkness is not punishment. It's where growth happens. Your body, your mind, your spirit are being rebuilt. And when the time comes, you'll break out stronger, lighter, freer than before. Only if you endure the breakdown long enough to reach the breakthrough. Breakdowns are painful, yes. They'll make you question yourself. They'll make you feel like you're losing everything. But what if what you're losing is exactly what was holding you back? What if the relationship that ended was making you smaller? What if the job that fired you was never aligned with your destiny? What if the door that closed wasn't rejection but redirection? Sometimes what feels like the end is actually the beginning of something you can't even imagine yet. When you shift your mindset, you start to see pain differently. You start to say, oh, maybe this isn't happening to me. Maybe it's happening for me. Maybe it's happening for me. That shift changes everything. Because then, instead of resisting the breakdown, you start learning from it. You start listening to what life is trying to tell you. You ask better questions. What can I learn here? What needs to change in me? What is this moment preparing me for? That's when the breakthrough begins. The truth is, breakdowns expose your limits so you can expand beyond them. They reveal where you've been playing small. They test your commitment to your goals. Anyone can stay motivated when things are good. But can you stay faithful when everything's falling apart? Can you still move forward when the plan no longer makes sense? That's what separates those who talk about dreams from those who live them. If you look closely, you'll realize that the people who inspire the world are the ones who went through something that should have broken them, but didn't. They used their pain as power. They turned their breakdown into a story that gave others hope. They understood that scars don't mean you lost. They mean you healed. Every scar is proof that you fought through something and came out stronger. You might not see it now, but one day you'll look back and realize that your greatest growth came from your hardest moments. That the nights you thought would destroy you were the same nights that defined you. That the pain you hated became the foundation of your strength. You'll see that the breakdown wasn't a failure. It was the fertilizer that made your soul bloom. That's why you can't quit in the middle of the process. Don't give up when it hurts. Don't stop when it's dark. Hold on, breathe through it. Trust that the same force that allowed the breakdown to happen is using it to create your breakthrough. The universe isn't cruel, it's strategic. Life isn't random, it's refining you. You're being prepared for the things you prayed for, even if it doesn't look like it right now. There's a version of you waiting on the other side of the pain, stronger, wiser, braver. But you'll never meet that version if you give up too soon. So instead of asking, when will this be over? Ask, what is this making me? Because who you become through the breakdown is what creates your breakthrough. Maybe your breakthrough won't come overnight. Maybe it'll take time, tears, and 1,000 small steps. But it will come. Because pain has an expiration date, and growth doesn't. Every storm runs out of rain. Every winter eventually gives way to spring. The sun will rise again. And when it does, you'll realize that the storm didn't destroy you. It revealed you. It showed you how strong you really are. So if you're breaking right now, let it happen. Don't fight it. Let yourself fall apart. Because maybe what's falling apart is what was fake, what was weak, what was no longer serving your purpose. Let life rebuild you differently this time. Let your breakdown become the birthplace of your breakthrough. Because the truth is, the pain you're feeling today is planting the power you'll carry tomorrow. Every tear is watering your future strength. Every heartbreak is shaping your resilience. Every failure is preparing you for the victory that's coming. You may be breaking now, but one day you'll fly. Every breakdown carries the seed of a breakthrough, but you have to believe it. You have to nurture that seed with faith, with patience, with perseverance. You have to trust that even when everything looks lost, something beautiful is still growing beneath the surface. Because that's how life works. The breakdown always comes, but with a breakthrough. Use pain as your teacher, not your prison. Every single person on this planet will face pain. Emotional, physical, mental, or spiritual. There's no escaping it. Pain is universal. What's not universal is how we respond to it. Some people let pain imprison them, define them, and chain them to their past. Others learn from it, grow through it, and use it as fuel to create something powerful. The difference between the two isn't what they went through. It's what they decided to do with what they went through. Pain is inevitable, but suffering is optional. You can either let pain make you bitter or let it make you better. Pain is one of life's greatest teachers. It teaches you things that comfort never could. It humbles you, it wakes you up, it reveals what truly matters. When you experience loss, heartbreak, or failure, it forces you to look deeper within yourself. It exposes the parts of you that need healing, the habits that need changing, and the strength that needs awakening. But too many people never learn the lesson because they're too busy running from the pain instead of listening to it. They're drowning in distractions, buried under busyness, or numbing with temporary escapes. What they don't realize is that pain will keep repeating itself until it has taught you what you need to learn. When you start seeing pain as your teacher, your entire perspective changes. You stop asking, why is this happening to me? And start asking, what is this trying to teach me? That question turns pain from an enemy into an ally. Because every experience, even the most painful one, has something valuable hidden inside it. A lesson, a strength, a truth. The people who grow the most are the ones who stop resisting pain and start learning from it. They let it guide them, shape them, and refine them. Pain teaches patience. It teaches empathy. It teaches endurance. When you've been through pain, you start to see others differently. You understand their struggles because you've been there too. That's why people who have been broken often become the most compassionate. They know how it feels to hurt, so they never want anyone else to feel that same loneliness. Pain connects us to each other in ways comfort never could. Pain also teaches gratitude. When you've been through dark times, you learn to appreciate the small things. A smile, a moment of peace, a breath of fresh air. You stop taking life for granted because you know how quickly things can change. Pain strips away arrogance and replaces it with appreciation. It teaches you to cherish what you have instead of complaining about what you don't. If you let pain become your prison, you get stuck. You relive the same moments over and over. You replay the hurt in your mind until it becomes your identity. You stop moving forward because you built a home in your past. Pain starts as a moment, but when you hold on to it, it becomes a mindset. You start to see everything through the lens of your wounds. That's how pain traps people. Not by happening, but by being repeated in their thoughts every single day. When you stay in that prison, you close yourself off from life. You stop trusting, you stop dreaming, you stop believing that things can get better. You build walls to protect yourself, but those same walls keep out joy, love, and growth. You think you're keeping pain away, but in reality, you're keeping yourself from healing. The key to freedom is forgiveness, not just of others, but of yourself. Forgive the moments you didn't know better. Forgive the times you fell apart. Forgive the version of you that was just trying to survive, because holding on to pain doesn't heal you. It just keeps you stuck in the same story. You have to choose to turn your pain into power. That means facing it, feeling it, and learning from it. Don't rush the process. Don't numb it away. Sit with it and let it teach you what you need to know. Pain has a language, and if you listen, it'll tell you exactly where your growth is waiting. Maybe your pain is showing you that you've been ignoring your worth. Maybe it's revealing that you've been living for others instead of yourself. Maybe it's reminding you that you've been silent too long when you needed to speak up. Pain is honest. It doesn't lie to you. It's the purest feedback life can give. The greatest transformations come from those who face their pain head on and refuse to let it define them. They use their pain as motivation. They turned heartbreak into hunger, failure into focus, and tragedy into testimony. They took what was meant to destroy them and turned it into a platform to uplift others. That's what happens when you let pain teach you instead of trap you. You You become unstoppable because you realize that pain is not your enemy. It's your instructor. Sometimes pain is the only thing that can wake you up to your potential. When everything is comfortable, you stay asleep. You don't push, you don't grow, you don't question anything. But when pain shows up, it shakes everything. It forces you to evolve. It forces you to confront the parts of yourself that you've been avoiding. Growth and comfort can't exist together. If you're feeling pain, it means you're growing. You're being stretched into a stronger, wiser version of yourself. The truth is, no great story exists without struggle. No great leader became great without loss. No great dream came true without some level of pain. Pain is the price you pay for growth. It's the classroom where wisdom is born. You can't graduate to your purpose until you've sat in that classroom long enough to learn the lesson. But once you learn it, pain loses its power over you. You no longer fear it, you respect it. You no longer avoid it, you use it. If you're in pain right now, remember this. You're not being punished, you're being prepared. The lesson you learn in this season will become the strength you need in the next. You may not understand it now, but one day you'll look back and say, if it wasn't for that pain, I wouldn't have become who I am. Because pain doesn't just change your circumstances, it changes you, it reshapes your priorities, your mindset, your vision. It makes you aware of how powerful and resilient you truly are. So stop letting pain be your prison. Stop reliving what broke you and start rewriting what built you. You can't change the past, but you can decide how it shapes your future. Every time you choose to rise instead of remain, you're using pain as your teacher. Every time you choose forgiveness over bitterness, you're using pain as your teacher. Every time you keep faith when everything seems lost, you're using pain as your teacher. Pain may visit you, but it doesn't have to stay. Let it come, let it teach, and then let it go. Carry the lesson, not the burden. Carry the wisdom, not the wounds. Because pain isn't there to keep you small, it's there to make you strong. You were never meant to live in prison by your past. You were meant to be free, to grow, to evolve. And the key to that freedom has been inside you all along. It's the decision to stop letting pain control you and start letting it guide you. Use pain as your teacher, not your prison. Oh, let it educate your heart, sharpen your soul, and refine your purpose. When you do that, nothing can hold you back. Pain stops being something to fear and becomes something to appreciate. Because you'll know that every tear you cried was teaching you strength. Every loss was teaching you gratitude, and every heartbreak was shaping your purpose. You'll walk differently, think differently, and love differently because pain has taught you who you truly are. And once you learn that, you'll never be trapped again. When the pain hits hardest, that's where most people tap out. That's where most dreams die. Not because they weren't possible, but because people gave up the moment it started to hurt. But listen to me, refusing to quit when it hurts is what separates the average from the great. Anybody can keep going when it's easy. Anybody can smile when life's treating them well. Real strength, real growth, real greatness is forged in the fire of pain. It's when your back is against the wall, when your body's tired, your heart is heavy, and your spirit feels empty. That's when character is born. Pain has a way of testing your commitment. It whispers in your ear, is it really worth it? It tempts you to settle, to step back, to slow down. But champions hear that voice and answer back, yes, it's worth it. Because they know that pain is not permanent, but quitting is. You see, pain is just a signal that growth is happening. It's life's way of asking you, how bad do you want it? If you quit every time it hurts, you'll never know what you are capable of. You'll spend your life starting and stopping, wondering why nothing ever worked out. But the ones who keep pushing, even through the tears, the fear, the exhaustion, those are the ones who make it to the top. When you refuse to quit, you train your mind to be stronger than your feelings. Feelings are temporary. They rise and fall like waves. But purpose is steady. Purpose keeps you going when motivation runs out. Motivation fades when the pain increases, but purpose becomes fuel. That's why you have to know why you started. Because if your why is strong enough, no pain can make you quit. Every step that hurts is another step closer to becoming the person you were meant to be. Think about it. Every great story has pain. Every legend has scars. Every success you admire is built on moments when someone refused to give up. They pushed through the sleepless nights, the broken plans, the rejection and the doubt. They They didn't have all the answers. They didn't always feel confident, but they had one thing, the refusal to quit when it hurt. Because that's where the growth lives. That's where transformation happens. Pain doesn't mean you're losing. It means you're being stretched. It means you're being prepared for something greater. Every tear, every failure, every setback is shaping you for the next level. You can't skip the struggle and expect the strength. You can't pray for growth and then run when the growing pains hit. You've got to stand there and fight for your future, even when everything inside you says stop. That's what refusing to quit looks like. Standing tall in the middle of your storm. When it hurts, most people look for a way out. But the ones who rise look for a way through. They understand that temporary pain is the price of permanent change. They rather suffer now than regret later. Regret lasts a lifetime, but pain fades once the lesson is learned. Every rep in the gym burns, but it builds strength. Every failure in life stings, but it builds wisdom. Pain isn't your enemy. It's your partner in progress. It's molding you into something stronger, wiser, tougher, and more focused. You've got to train yourself to think differently about pain. When it hurts, don't say, I can't take this. Say, this is building me. Don't ask, oh, why me? Ask, oh, what is this teaching me? Because when you flip that mindset, pain loses its power over you. You stop running from it and start growing through it. You stop seeing it as punishment and start seeing it as preparation. Pain isn't breaking you, it's birthing you into the person you said you wanted to become. Refusing to quit when it hurts is how you honor your dream. You made a promise to yourself that you would chase something bigger, something better, something meaningful. But every promise has a price. Every dream demands discipline. And sometimes that discipline comes wrapped in pain. You can't let your emotions make decisions your purpose should make. When you feel like quitting, remind yourself why you started. Remind yourself of the nights you prayed for this. Remind yourself of the sacrifices you already made. Don't let that pain go to waste by stopping now. You've come too far to only come this far. You've cried too many tears, fought too many battles, and endured too many losses to walk away when it hurts. There's power in pushing past your limits. There's glory in holding on one more second when everything in you says you can't. Every time you refuse to quit, you rewrite your story. You take back your power. You prove to yourself that pain doesn't control you. You control how you respond to it. Sometimes life won't give you what you want until you've proven you can handle what you have. That's what pain does. It tests your capacity. It asks, are you strong enough for the next level? Every time you keep going despite the hurt, you're telling life, yes, I'm ready. You're showing the universe that you're not afraid to bleed for what you believe in. Because success isn't built on comfort, it's built on consistency through pain. When it hurts, don't hide. Stand firm. Take the hit, breathe through it. Learn from it, grow through it. You'll realize the pain doesn't last forever, but the strength it builds with. You'll look back and realize that the moment you thought would break you actually became the moment that made you. You'll remember how you felt like giving up, but you did. And that memory will become your armor. The next time pain shows up, you'll know exactly what to do. Keep going. You're not weak because you're hurting. You're human. Strength doesn't mean you don't feel pain. It means you keep moving through it. It means you don't let it stop your mission. It means you get up every time you fall, even when it feels pointless, because eventually it won't hurt anymore. Eventually, all that pressure will turn into power. So when it hurts, and it will, don't quit. When they doubt you, when you fail, when the weight feels too heavy, don't quit. That's the moment life is watching, waiting to see if you're serious about what you said you wanted. That's the moment that defines you. The world doesn't remember those who started strong. It remembers those who finish, no matter what it costs them. And I need you to remember this. Pain is a passage, not a prison. It's not meant to trap you. It's meant to transport you to the next level of your life. Every tear, every loss, every moment you wanted to give up but did is adding to your story, your strength, your legacy. Refusing to quit when it hurts is how you rise from ordinary to extraordinary. It's how you turn suffering into strength, struggle into success, and pain into purpose. So keep going, keep fighting, keep believing. The hurt won't last, but the reward will. Every step you take through pain is one step closer to greatness. And when you finally make it, when you reach that place you've been dreaming of, you'll look back and thank the pain that once tried to stop you. because it didn't stop you, it built you. Growth doesn't come wrapped in comfort. It comes through resistance. The truth that most people never want to hear is that life's easiest moments rarely teach you anything meaningful. Comfort is where potential goes to sleep. But resistance, that's where it wakes up. That's where the struggle begins, where the real lessons show up, where the inner voice that says, keep going, starts to get louder. Just like a muscle can only grow when it's challenged, your character, your mindset, your willpower can only grow when life pushes back. You can't build strength by avoiding resistance. You build it by facing it, by pressing into it, by learning to stand tall even when it hurts. We live in a world that tells us to avoid pain, to find shortcuts, to take the easy road. But what nobody tells you is that the easy road never leads to greatness. It leads to comfort, and comfort leads to complacency. And complacency is a silent killer of dreams. You want to grow? You want to evolve? Then stop running from resistance. Stop praying for an easy life and start preparing yourself to face the hard one. Because when you learn to embrace resistance, life stops breaking you. It starts building you. Look at any success story, any champion, any person who turned nothing into something. You'll see one thing in common. They faced resistance head on. They failed, they struggled, they failed, but every time they got back up stronger. Because resistance is a gift in disguise. It may not look like one when you're in the middle of it, when everything feels heavy, when the obstacles seem endless. But that pressure is shaping you, refining you, molding you into the version of yourself you always meant to become. You cannot access that version by staying in comfort. You have to go through resistance. Every time you resist the temptation to quit, you grow stronger. Every time you choose discipline over distraction, you grow wiser. Every time you show up when it's inconvenient, you grow tougher. Growth doesn't announce itself with fanfare. It comes quietly through the daily grind, through the pain, through the resistance that tests your commitment. You don't notice it happening, but one day you'll look back and realize that the same things that once broke you no longer have power over you. That's growth. Resistance builds capacity. Think about a tree. When the wind blows against it, it doesn't weaken. It gets stronger. The roots go deeper. The branches grow sturdier. Without the wind, that tree would stay fragile, vulnerable to the next storm. You're no different. Without resistance, your roots stay shallow. Your faith, your patience, your resilience remain untested. The winds of life are not meant to destroy you. They're meant to ground you deeper. So when life sends storms your way, don't curse them. Use them. Let them strengthen your roots. Let them prepare you for what's next. See, growth isn't a reward, it's a result. It's the natural outcome of enduring resistance with the right attitude. The world celebrates the victory, but it's the resistance that made the victory possible. People see the success, but not the struggle. They admire the glove, but don't see the grind. Don't envy someone's outcome if you're not willing to face their resistance. Because behind every breakthrough, there's a battle. Beyond every achievement, there's a season of pain, frustration, and doubt. You have to walk through those seasons. You have to stay faithful even when it doesn't make sense. That's where the growth is hiding, in the unseen, uncelebrated, uncomfortable spaces of your journey. And let me tell you something, resistance will always show up when you're on the right path. The moment you start chasing something meaningful, life will test you. You'll face distractions, delays, disappointments. Not to stop you, but to strengthen you. Because if the journey was easy, you wouldn't value the destination. Growth requires friction. You can't sharpen a blade without grinding it against something rough. Likewise, your potential can't shine without friction, without struggle. You need that resistance to bring out your best self. When you face resistance, don't back down. The weight that feels unbearable today will make you unshakable tomorrow. The pressure that feels overwhelming right now is preparing you for the opportunities that are coming. You're not being punished. You're being prepared. You're in training for the next level. You're learning endurance, patience, humility, and strength. Those lessons don't come from comfort. They come from resistance. Every time you push against resistance, you are rewriting your limits. The walls you thought you couldn't climb start to crumble. The fears that held you hostage begin to fade. Because resistance not only builds strength, it builds self-belief. When you face something hard and survive it, you start to realize how powerful you truly are. You stop underestimating yourself. You stop doubting your worth. You start trusting your grind. resistance becomes proof of your growth. Don't misunderstand. Resistance doesn't feel good. It's uncomfortable. It's painful. It makes you question everything. But that's the price of evolution. You can't be reborn without labor pains. You can't become new without leaving something old behind. Growth through resistance means dying to your old self, your excuses, your fear, your comfort zone. It means letting go of who you were to become who you're meant to be. And that process is never easy, but it's always worth it. When resistance shows up, your mom will try to convince you that it's too much. It'll whisper, maybe you're not cut out for this. Maybe you should stop. But remember, that's not truth. That's fear talking. Resistance amplifies your inner doubts, but you can silence them by taking one more step, one more breath, one more swing. You don't have to be fearless. You just have to keep moving in spite of the fear. That's how growth happens. One small act of courage at a time. Growth through resistance also teaches gratitude. When you've been through hard times, you learn to appreciate what others take for granted. You stop complaining about small problems because you faced real ones. You become grounded, humble, thankful. You learn that strength isn't about never breaking. It's about learning to bend without giving up. Resistance softens your ego, but strengthens your spirit. It teaches you empathy. It reminds you that pain is universal. Everyone's fighting their own battle. And because you've endured, you become a light for others walking through their darkness. You can't rush growth. You can't skip resistance. Every stage of the process matters. If you pull a seed out of the soil too early, it dies. If you quit your journey because it hurts, you never see the harvest that was waiting for you. Resistance, part of the process. It's proof that you're in motion, proof that you're alive, proof that you're growing. Every time you survive resistance, you level up. You become more disciplined, more focused, more resilient. So don't wish for an easier life. Wish for the strength to handle resistance with grace. Ask for thicker skin, deeper faith, stronger willpower, because the stronger you become, the lighter the load feels. The problems don't get smaller. You just get bigger. You outgrow the things that once scared you. You rise above the challenges that once defeated you. That's the miracle of growth through resistance. It transforms not your situation, but you. One day you'll look back at the seasons that broke you and realize that they were the seasons that built you. The same storms that tested your patience became the winds that carried you forward. The same weight that made you cry became the reason you're now standing tall. Growth through resistance is a slow, painful, but powerful process. And when you come out of it, you're no longer the same person. You've been stretched, strengthened, and sharpened. So when life gets heavy, don't run. When resistance shows up, don't hide. Stand firm. Don't face it. Push back. Because that's where growth lives. Not in comfort, not in ease, but in the struggle. Resistance is the universe's way of asking, how bad do you want it? And if your answer is, bad enough to go through the pain, then you're already on your way to greatness. Growth doesn't come from comfort. It comes from resistance, from every battle you fought, every tear you shed, every time you refuse to quit. That's what builds strength. That's what builds character. That's what builds legends. Your scars tell the story of your survival. They are not signs of weakness. They are symbols of strength, proof that you faced a storm and came out on the other side. Every scar on your heart, every wound on your soul, every pain you carry, they are to me. Too many people hide their scars because they're ashamed of what they've been through. But let me tell you something. Those scars are your power. They are reminders that you didn't give up, even when you had every reason to. They are the marks of a warrior who faced pain and turned it into purpose. When you turn your scars into stories, you transform pain into power. You take the very things that were meant to break you and use them to build someone else. You start to realize that your story is bigger than your suffering. The experiences you went through weren't just for you. They were preparing you to be a voice for someone who's still fighting that same battle. Somebody out there needs your story. Somebody is praying for a reason to hold on, and your scars can become that reason. But you have to stop hiding them. You have to stop pretending you've always been strong. Strength isn't about never falling. It's about getting back up after you've been knocked down. Every time you share your story, you set someone else free. You remind them that pain doesn't last forever, that healing is possible, and that broken doesn't mean finished. People relate to struggle more than they relate to perfection. They don't need to see someone who's never failed. They need to see someone who failed and still rose again. That's how connection happens. Through honesty, through vulnerability, through courage. Your scars can inspire people in ways your success never could. You see, scars tell the truth about where you've been, but they don't define where you're going. They are chapters, not the whole book. Sometimes we get stuck staring at the painful pages of our past, thinking that's the whole story. But the moment you decide to use your scars instead of hiding them, you begin writing a new chapter. One filled with strength, faith, and purpose. Those scars become your testimony. They say, yes, I was hurt. Yes, I was broken. But I'm still here. I'm still standing. If I made it through that, I can make it through anything. Pain changes people, but what it changes you into depends on how you respond. You can let it make you bitter, or you can let it make you better. You can let it close your heart, or you can let it open your empathy. When you choose to turn your scars into story, you choose to take control of your narrative. You're saying, oh, my pain will not be wasted. You're taking back the power that life tried to take from you. Because your story, your real, unfiltered story, has the power to heal others. Think about the people who've inspired you the most. Were they perfect? No, they were broken, flawed, and human. What made them powerful was their honesty about their struggles. They didn't hide their scars. They showed them. They said, I've been there. I felt that pain. I know what it's like to lose everything and still fight to stand again. And that's what made their story resonate. Not the success, but the strength behind it. There's beauty in the broken pieces when you learn to put them together differently. Every scar carries a story of growth, a lesson, a transformation, a moment where you became more than you were before. The scar might remind you of pain, but it also reminds you of healing. It's proof that time can mend what once seemed unfixable. And even if the scar never fully fades, it becomes a part of who you are. Not something to hide, but something to honor. When you turn your scars into stories, you give your pain a purpose. You stop asking, why did this happen to me? And start asking, what can I do with what happened to me? That shift changes everything. Suddenly, your pain isn't just something you endured. It's something you can use to inspire, to teach, to empower. Maybe you went through heartbreak so you could help someone else heal theirs. Maybe you lost something precious so you could learn gratitude for what remains. Maybe your darkness exists to help someone else find their light. Every scar becomes a piece of wisdom, a message carved into your soul that says, I've been there and I made it out. You don't need to have all the answers to turn your scars into stories. You just need the courage to be real, to admit that you struggled, to acknowledge that it hurt, to say, I'm still healing, but I'm still here. That kind of honesty is rare and powerful because people don't connect to perfection. They connect to truth. And truth, even when it's messy, is magnetic. It pulls people in. It gives them hope. When you own your scars, you become unstoppable. Nobody can use your past against you when you've already turned it into power. Nobody can shame you for what you survived when you've already found strength in it. You take control of the narrative. You stop living in fear of judgment and start living in freedom of authenticity. So, child, that's when healing truly begins. Not when the pain disappears, but when you stop running from it. The world is full of people pretending to be unscarred, pretending they've never been hurt, pretending they got it all figured out. But that's not real. What's real is standing in your truth and saying, I've been through things that nearly broke me, but they didn't destroy me. I learned, I grew, I healed, and I'm still becoming. That's strength. That's purity. Sometimes your scars will open doors that your strength never could. People trust those who've been through pain because they know you understand. You've walked through the fire, and you're not afraid to walk beside others while they go through theirs. Your story becomes a bridge, connecting pain to purpose, struggle to success, heartbreak to healing. That's why you can't keep your story to yourself. It's not just about you. It's about the people waiting to hear it, the lives waiting to be changed because of it. Your scars are living proof that healing is real. They remind you that no matter how dark it got, light eventually found its way in. They're proof that you can recover, rebuild, and rise again. Every scar is a victory mark, evidence that you fought a battle and came out alive. You might not have come out the same, but you came out wiser, stronger, and more compassionate. Turning your scars into stories is a form of freedom. It's standing in the light after years of darkness and saying, this me, all of me. No more hiding, no more shame. No more pretending to be someone you're not. The moment you embrace your scars, they lose the power to control you. They stop being wounds and start being wisdom. They stop being reminders of pain and start being reminders of power. So let the world see your scars. Speak your truth. Tell your story. Someone out there is waiting to hear it, waiting to know they're not alone, waiting to see that healing is possible, waiting for a reason to keep fighting. And your story might be the one that saves them. Your scars are not ugly. They are the art of survival. They're the fingerprints of your strength, the proof of your resilience, the evidence of your faith. You've been through things that could have destroyed you, but they did. And that's something to be proud of. Don't hide your scars on them. Wear them as badges of courage. Because every scar says, I've been through something and I'm still here. One day you'll look back at all the things that hurt you and you'll realize they were shaping you all along. Every cut, every wound, every scar was preparing you for a greater purpose. They weren't meant to break you. They were meant to build you. And now you have to take those scars and turn them into light for others. To remind the world that pain doesn't have the final say, that healing is possible, that hope is real. So don't be ashamed of your scars. Let them speak. Let them shine. Because your scars tell the story of your survival. And someone out there needs to hear it. When life breaks you, it's easy to think that everything is over. It's easy to feel like you'll never recover, like the damage is too deep and the pain too heavy to carry. But the truth is, being broken is not the end. It's the beginning of something new. The greatest transformations often come after the greatest pain. When you reach that point where you have nothing left, when you're stripped of your pride, your comfort, and your plans, that's when you meet your real self. That's when life forces you to rebuild, to redefine who you are and what you stand for. Eric Thomas often says, when you have nothing left, that's when you find out what you're truly made of. Being broken doesn't mean you're finished. It means life is preparing you for a version of yourself that you couldn't become any other way. When life breaks you, you have two options. You can stay down or you can rise. The difference between the two is your mindset. Some people let their pain define them. Others use it to refine them. The ones who go through the pain don't run from it. They face it. They learn from it. They let it shape them into someone stronger. Because when life breaks you, it's not trying to destroy you. It's trying to show you what needs to change. Maybe you've been chasing things that don't align with your purpose. Maybe you've been holding on to people who were never meant to stay. Maybe you've been living below your potential. The breaking is the wake-up call. It's life's way of saying, well, you can't keep living like this. There's more inside you. It's painful because change is painful. Growth hurts. But that pain is the evidence that transformation is taking place. When you're broken, you see the world differently. You stop chasing surface level happiness. You stop pretending everything is fine. You start valuing peace, authenticity, and meaning. The things that used to impress you don't matter anymore. You begin to understand that strength doesn't come from pretending you're okay. It comes from acknowledging that you're not, but choosing to keep going anyway. Brokenness strips away everything fake. It leaves you raw, real, and open. That's where real power begins. That's where faith grows. That's where you learn to rely on something deeper than your own understanding. You learn to rely on your purpose, your spirit, and your God. Because when life breaks you, it's not your comfort that will save you. It's your faith, your persistence, and your refusal to quit. There will be moments when you're so broken that you can't even see tomorrow. You'll wake up tired, lost, and unsure how to keep moving. You'll question why life had to be this hard. But in those moments, remember that every person who ever achieved greatness walked through a season of breaking. Look at the stories of those who made history. They all had moments when they fell to their knees, when they cried in silence, when they doubted themselves. But what separated them from the rest was that they didn't stay there. They didn't let their pain paralyze them. They let it push them. They turned their tears into fuel. When life breaks you, it's trying to reveal the strength you didn't know you had. That strength is not found in comfort. It's found in your ability to rise after being shattered. When life breaks you, you learn empathy, you learn compassion. You stop judging people so quickly because you realize everyone is fighting battles you can't see. you begin to understand that sometimes the strongest people are the ones who've been through the most. Brokenness teaches you humility. It softens your heart and deepens your soul. It makes you grateful for small victories, for moments of peace, for people who stay by your side when you have nothing to give. It changes how you see everything. You stop chasing perfection, start chasing progress. You stop trying to prove your worth and start realizing that your worth was never lost. It was just buried under pain and doubt. The breaking doesn't take away your value, it reveals it. But let's be honest, when you're in the middle of that breaking season, it doesn't feel like growth. It feels like chaos. It feels unfair. You'll cry, you'll scream, you'll want to quit. That's okay. You're human. But what you can't do is give up. You can't let your temporary pain make you forget your permanent purpose. You can't let the storm convince you that the sun won't rise again. Because it will. It always does. The rain doesn't last forever. The wound doesn't stay open forever. One day you'll look back and realize that the moment that broke you was the same moment that built you. You'll thank the pain because it taught you what strength really means. It showed you that you were capable of surviving what you thought would destroy you. When life breaks you, that's when you need to rebuild with intention. Don't rush the process. Healing isn't about getting back to who you were. It's about becoming who you were meant to be. Let go of what's gone. Accept what you can't change. Forgive what hurt you. And focus on what you can control. Your attitude, your mindset, your effort. Every scar is proof that you made it through. Every lesson learned is a tool for the future. Don't waste your pain. Use it. Let it drive you to something greater. Eric Thomas says, a pain is temporary. It may last for a minute or an hour or a day or even a year, but eventually it will subside and something else will take its place. What you do during that pain determines what that something else will be. If you quit, you'll stay broken. If you keep pushing, you'll rise stronger than ever before. When life breaks you, remember this: broken crayons still color. Broken people still shine. You might feel like your story's over, but it's not. It's just being rewritten. Sometimes God allows you to be broken so he can rebuild you on a stronger foundation. You're not broken beyond repair. You're being reshaped. You're being refined. The pressure you're under isn't meant to crush you. It's meant to form you. You're in the process of becoming. Don't judge your journey based on how it looks right now. The masterpiece always looks messy before it's complete. You're in the middle of your masterpiece. Keep going. Keep believing. Keep fighting. Because one day, the same thing that broke you will become the story that inspires someone else to keep fighting when life breaks them. At the end of it all, when you've been broken, when you've cried every tear, when you've reached that point where you thought there was no way out, you realize something powerful. You realize you survived. You realize that even when you didn't think you could take another step, you did. You realize that the pain didn't destroy you, refine you. That the fire you walked through didn't burn you, it purified you. It made you stronger, wiser, and more resilient than you ever were before. Life has a way of breaking us down to rebuild us in a better way. And when you look back, you'll see that every heartbreak, every disappointment, every loss, every moment you wanted to quit, it all had a purpose. The pain wasn't wasted. The struggle wasn't meaningless. Every single thing you went through was preparing you for where you are now, for who you become. When life breaks you, it teaches you what real strength means. Strength isn't about pretending you're okay or never falling apart. Strength is about standing up again after being shattered. It's about showing up when everything in you said, stay down. It's about choosing hope when all you see is darkness. It's about trusting that somehow, some way, this pain will turn into purpose. Because the truth is, every great story has moments of breaking. Every hero has scars. Every success story has a chapter of struggle that almost ended everything. And that's what makes the victory beautiful. Without pain, there is no growth. Without the storm, there is no rainbow. Without breaking, there is no breakthrough. When you finally come out of your breaking season, you don't come out the same. You come out more aware of who you are. You come out knowing what truly matters. You stop chasing approval and you start chasing peace. You stop looking for validation from the world and you start finding it within yourself. You stop trying to control everything and start trusting the process. That's the gift that comes from being broken. It realigns your soul with your purpose. It humbles you. It deepens your gratitude. It shows you the value of the simple things, a kind word, a quiet morning, a genuine smile. The things you once took for granted become the very things that heal you. In the end, being broken doesn't define you. How you rise does. Your scars become your strength. Your pain becomes your power. Your story becomes your testimony. You start to realize that the very things that tried to destroy you became the fuel that pushed you toward greatness. When you see people succeeding, you often see the shine, but you don't see the struggle that came before it. You don't see the nights they cried, the days they doubted themselves, the times they almost gave up. You only see the outcome. But the truth is, what makes their success meaningful is the pain that shaped it. You can't appreciate the light unless you've known the darkness. And that's what you learn when life breaks you, that everything you went through had a reason. The rejection that hurt so bad, it redirected you. The failure that crushed your confidence, it refined your focus. The heartbreak that left you shattered, it taught you how to love yourself. The loss that left you empty, it showed you how to fill your soul with something eternal. Every crack in your heart was a doorway to something deeper. Every wound was an opening for light to enter. Every fall was an invitation to rise higher than before. You didn't lose, you learned. You didn't fail, you evolved. When you reach this point, you stop running from pain. You stop avoiding challenges. You stop fearing failure. Because you know now, life's greatest gifts often come wrapped in difficulty. You begin to thank God not just for the blessings, but for the battles, because they taught you what blessings alone never could. You begin to see that every storm passes, but what it leaves behind is a version of you that's unstoppable. You start walking differently, not with arrogance, but with quiet confidence. The kind of confidence that comes from knowing you faced hell and made it out alive. You've been broken, but you didn't stay broken. You've been knocked down, but you didn't stay down. You've been tested and you came out refined. You've been through the fire and now you glow from the inside. And now when life tries to break you again, because it will, you'll know what to do. You won't panic. You won't give up. You'll remember that you've been here before and survived. You'll remember that no matter how hard it gets, there's something inside you that can't be destroyed. You'll remember that pain is temporary, but purpose is forever. You'll remember that every ending is just a new beginning in disguise. You'll stand tall, wipe your tears and say, I've been broken before and I'm still here. That's power. That's strength. That's what life breaking you teaches you. And maybe one day someone else will come to you, broken, lost, ready to quit, and you'll share your story. You'll tell them how you thought it was over, how you didn't see a way out, but you kept fighting. And your story will give them hope. Your scars will become someone else's roadmap. Your pain will become their inspiration. That's how the cycle of healing continues. One broken soul helping another rise. That's the beauty of it. When life breaks you, it's not just about you. It's about the people who will one day find strength through your survival. So as you stand here now, at the end of your breaking and the beginning of your becoming, take a deep breath. You made it. You're not who you used to be. And that's a good thing. You've grown. You've evolved. You've discovered parts of yourself you didn't even know existed. You've learned how to endure, how to persevere, how to love deeper, how to live stronger. You've learned that being broken was not your ending. It was your awakening. And now you're ready to move forward, not as a victim, but as a warrior. Not as someone who lost everything, but as someone who gained clarity, purpose, and faith. Because in the end, when life breaks you, it's never to destroy you. It's to rebuild you into the person you were always meant to be. You may have walked through pain, but now you walk in power. You may have faced darkness, but now you carry light. You may have fallen apart, but now you're whole in a way you've never been before. So don't fear the breaking. Embrace it. Let it shape you, mold you, and prepare you. Because your story isn't over yet. The best chapters are still unwritten. And when people look at you and ask how you made it, you'll simply smile and say, life broke me, but I refuse to stay broken.